What's up guys, the Methodical Show here today to try to figure out what the cliffhanger of the last episode of The 100 was really all about. Before I get into what possibly happened with Octavia, Diyoza, and Echo, I want to ask you guys, if anyone watching this video loves The 100, leave a like, subscribe, and now let's get into the video. At the end of episode 8 of season 7, we saw a scene with Clarke forcing Cadogan to get her people or die. Cadogan, knowing this coming already, had them standing behind the sliding door and outwalked 3 of his disciples of Bardo, who then took off their helmets almost robotically and revealed themselves to be Octavia, Diyoza, and Echo. They then stared forward almost machine-like and showed zero emotion to see their old friends. There's so many different ways you could interpret this scene, which is why it was a good choice as the cliffhanger to leave us wanting to see episode 9. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this scene playing out was, are they really gonna do the brainwashed storyline? Now, thinking about it later on, there's only a couple ways that this could go realistically. Either they are brainwashed or being controlled through some sort of technology, as we know Cadogan has some insane technology in Bardo. The only other option is that they are faking it and are just playing along to portray Cadogan later on, which has been a theme throughout the series. Usually the villains will allow one of our people to get on their side and get close enough to foil any plans that the villain may have. We may even be seeing this with Murphy and Shiedheda right now, and out of these two options that I just said, I'm pretty sure 99% of people watching would prefer option 2, and that Octavia, Diyoza, and Echo will just betray Bardo and Cadogan when the time is right. Because with option 1, it would almost certainly lead to all 3 of their deaths at some point this season, and it would feel like a massive injustice to those 3 characters who are incredibly popular with the fan base, and it would certainly annoy a lot of people to see these 3 characters essentially be used as a plot device to eventually be killed sometime in the second half. What I'm thinking when I think of this type of story, especially with Octavia's story from the pilot to end, and if her story were to end with some type of brainwashed or control through technology and have her death be related to that, wouldn't sit right with a huge portion of the 100 fanbase. If I had to take a guess at what is being planned with this and how this is going to actually play out, is that it is much more likely that they aren't being controlled like AIs or robots, and it's much more likely they've been tortured and forced to comply for so long that their minds are so messed up they actually believe that they are working with Cadogan and are legitimate disciples. But at some point, probably fairly soon, something will happen, or they will run into somebody that they have such a strong connection with that they'll snap out of it, or their memories of the whole journey will click in and they will betray Cadogan and do what's right in the end. Now, is it possible that one of the 3 does actually die from this storyline? I would think, yeah, it is possible. One, because we haven't had any deaths yet this season. The whole first half was completely death-free, unless you count Russell, but the actor J.R. Bourne is still on the show, so I don't know if you can really count that as a death, really. And it's the final season. People are, of course, need to die in a show where people always died, but now nobody's dying in the final season. It's a bit strange. I think we could definitely see one of these 3 die, but one thing I can guarantee is that it won't be Octavia. It would much more likely be Diyoza or Echo. The one thing that gives me pause when I think about Echo or Diyoza dying from this possible story is that they both have such strong connections to more important characters, like Echo's connection with Bellamy, and that's what her whole story's been about this season, is reuniting with Bellamy. So if she were to die through some brainwash arc and she never really comes back from this, it would kind of feel like they're not even touching base with the Bellamy story at all for her. And then with Diyoza, it's Hope and Octavia. Now, we have seen them reunite since, and then maybe she could die through this, and maybe Hope is the one to kill her, or something like that could possibly happen, but I don't think it's entirely likely either one of them dies. Now, tell me what you think about this cliffhanger. Do you think what's happening with Octavia, Diyoza, and Echo is that they are AI and being controlled through technology, or is it just a little bit of brainwashing going on and they actually believe they are disciples and they're just gonna play along and are ready to betray Cadogan when the time is right? And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.